Alright, y'all. Hey, YouTubes and Reddits and Twitch. Kiseki here. And today we're going to talk about a champion that is very special to me. And that's Shyvana. So, Riot has announced Shyvana is finally being changed. Shyvana is a champion that has been with me forever with this game. Like, I always find an excuse to make her work. I think the third skin I ever purchased was Iron Scale Shyvana, so when I say I like this champion, I do mean it. I thought she was very cool and pros were playing her at the time, so I picked her up. Anyways, what I'm looking here is to talk about the Shyvana rework kind of deal, what I want to do with Shyvana in the future. And because I like Shyvana and I don't see any issue with her, I kind of want to keep it to the exact same theme that made me kind of fall in love with Shyvana to begin with. So let's look at how Riot introduced Shyvana. Shyvana is a creature with pure elemental magic blazing in her heart. Though she most often appears humanoid, she can take her true form when necessary, that of a fearsome dragon, incinerating her foes with fiery breath. Having saved the life of the Crown Prince Jarvan IV, Shyvana now serves uneasily in his royal guard, struggling to find acceptance among the suspicious people of Demacia. I did not want to make an entirely new dragon champion, and I'm a believer in keeping identities when reworking, so this whole idea of she can take her true form when necessary is where I really wanted to aim. Anyways, so I decided to give her more personality and emphasize what her kit currently is. With that being said, I did design this rework with the intention of allowing her to function as a tank, but letting her move into the buying of the more of the AD and AP items. Right now, it's a mess with how they treat her AD and AP, so I want to look into that more. So, what is Shyvana's gameplay? Shyvana is close range, very low mobility, but decent chase down. She's the all-in style champion, and I say she can be built for AP range harass with her ultimate or E, the 80 melee burst DPS, or frontline. I say she's a scaling god. With levels, Shyvana does so much damage. Remember, all of her damage comes in the form of mixed damage with her autos, and more points in her base damage is all she needs. She's a manaless champion, which made her able to give blues, and that was important in the past, but that's not really a thing anymore because junglers need to take blue buff, and everybody gets blue buff past certain time limits of the game anyways. Shyvana's roles are top and jungle, which is natural for a fighter, sometimes more popular than the others. And then what is her ultimate? Her ultimate is a kit enhancer. It's a transforming ultimate, meaning you use the same 3 abilities all game, but when you ultimate, you use those abilities in an emphasized way. And I want to keep, that's what I'm going to keep looking at there. Just a little more note here. Shyvana's gameplay theme is a champion that stands strong when someone approaches her range, punishing those who challenged her by using Dragon's Descent to chase them down. She's known as one of the best weak side top champions or a power farming jungler who's a little difficult to contest 1v1. Her damage pattern is either in the form of tossing her Fire Blast during ult as an AP or absolutely crushing in melee form as her Q counts as 2 autos plus it lowers CD if it touches many targets. Yeah, you get the point. Anyways, from here on, all of my vision about the new Shyvana will be based off this mock-up art provided by Riot Games. Shyvana, in my opinion, has first version of Swain rework and old Rengar rework treatment, as when she respawns, she does not get to charge her resource bar while dead, and that's really part of the things I want to fix here. So the Shyvana ult usage with the build-up, giving her bar more creative uses, more creatively I wrote, giving her more aggression, and keeping the proposed theme of transforming when needed, as mentioned earlier. Anyways, so my issue with the Shyvana build-up thing is I believe it forces the devs into a weird position as how they want to balance her, because currently all of her power is in her ultimate, and her base kit doesn't do too much because of how important using her ult is. And it's good. Her ultimate is a pretty low cooldown, should she live after using it, but if she dies, she's in trouble. And where I want to go with this rework is using her Fury bar differently, but keeping the same kind of play pattern. There are many angles you can look at it with Fury, like spells doing more damage with more bar, but you're kind of like stuck in a humanoid form all game, barely seeing your dragon form. Sorry, I burped. This version works too, but I just like the idea of a wild dragon moving around a bunch. I think that's what people pick Shyvana for. She's the transforming fighter. Anyways, let's move into her kit comparisons. I'll spoil a bunch and talk in between stuff, but don't worry, I will give a TLDR after, and I hope and edit in like a little timestamp where you can skip a bunch of stuff. Anyway, so first things first, I'm gaining all these screenshots from leagueoflegends.fandom.com, and it's the Shyvana wiki, the League of Legends side. Link included top right there. Just take a quick peek at the abilities here. So Shyvana passive is the big one I want to change. I don't feel like it's a useful passive. I do feel like the stuff gained from it is very nice, but I don't feel like that should be the only thing this character has on her passive. Remember, before her ultimate, etc., all that stuff. And Twin Bite, I love Twin Bite. It's just a good ability. It's an auto reset with bonus range, and it just feels nice. This is, if you've played Shyvana, you've used this ability 10 million times. Same with her W. It just, once again, I generally like Shyvana's kit. I think it's simple, easy, or keep it simple, stupid, whatever, kiss. And I'm going to look to keep everything nearly the exact same. The one thing I am looking to change a bit is how the ultimate functions, and we'll get into that real short. So here is my proposed new kit. And so let's start with the passive. We can kind of spoil, so the E used to have a passive where it would be about 3% plus the 100% or plus 1% for 100 bonus AD. And now I'm putting that on a lesser scale on first touch onto her passive, but now instead of just one mark of it, the burn can stack up to 8. So I'm having place a burn mark upon hitting a target. One mark allows autos to deal bonus magic damage on hit equal to 1% plus 1% per 110 bonus AD of the target's maximum health, capped out at 150 against monsters. I don't know about this 150 against monsters thing, but I just copy pasted it because I'm not in the mood to do a bunch of testing for this. Anyway, so I have it stacking up to 8 marks, dealing a total of 8% plus the same ratio. I believe Shyvana is a character, I earlier stated, how you have to come into her for her to fight you. So I want to reward that little aspect of if you walk into Shyvana, this low mobility, stand your ground character, that she's going to screw your day up kind of deal. And I think having access to a combat heavy hold your ground passive is what she wants now. Q, I'm keeping the Q the exact same ability, so same as before, but if the target is at 8 burn stacks, the Q also applies at 20% slow. This change I'm keeping in mind just so she doesn't need to take lethal tempo, and in case she goes in AP build or tank build, she can still have access to like some form of crowd control. It's any kind of crowd control really, like any stick chase kind of deal. Because the way I have the new passive, a little spoiler, every single ability kind of only places 1. Q places 2 because it counts as 2 autos. So your combo would look like this. You toss your Flame Hadouken, whah, and then you run at them with your W. That's 2 marks. Auto Q. So we're at 5 marks now. And if you auto for 6, auto again for 7, auto one more time, they should be at 8, and your Q should be back up by then, should they still be keeping on fighting you. Then your Q will a little bit of a slow just for an extra chase to really seal the deal that they screwed up and you're going to kill them. That's the idea behind adding that little slow on the Q there. Not too heavy of a one, but it's still noticeable. Anyway, so W, keep the exact ability the exact same, but now the W applies a burn mark on every target it touches. Only once. When she's in base form, only once. Keep same ratios, etc. I don't care. E works same as before, but now E passive is on her passive. R passive. So this is my new R passive. For as many enemies being hurt near Shyvana, her Fury bar grows 1.2 times faster. So naturally, Shyvana grows 2 Fury every time she hits something, and I believe it was about a Fury a second or so. if I'm not mistaken. I kind of, if I go back, maybe it's there. Yeah, for per alt stack, it's either a second, 1.5, or 2. That's cool. So that being said, her having the essentially a 60-second ulti, should be out of combat. But if enemies are being hurt near her, her ultimate now charges up faster. And the reason I'm having this is because the juice is going to be continued. In just a second. It's because I want her to ult more, kind of deal. But her old armor gaining passive that she would get for killing dragons is now only accessible when she's ulted. So if she's killed the dragon, she gets the 5 MR, 5 resist, or magic resist, or 5 armor, 5 magic resist. That will now be only when she's in the Dragon's Descent, the dragon mode. That way I can kind of keep a reason for her to have more front on damage, but only have access to it while in ulti state. So anyways, as to explain why Shyvana's Fury is going to be gaining so much faster, new ult! Alt 1 and Alt 2. So here's the fun shit. Her ultimate now has 2 forms. One form as a quick instance that consumes all of her fury in the exchange of a short burst of power, and one ultimate that enables her to teamfight like a beast, like an actual raid boss. So, the Alt 1 is what we'll call it. It can be either having Shyvana turn into a dragon or her a base form covered in flames. I think it'd be better to have her stay as a dragon and just amping her Alt 2 look to show its severity, but both are welcome. So Alt 1 will be a timer-based ult where she has to act fast and get what she needs to get done. This ult will not work like current Shyvana ult, in the sense where she gets to keep fighting and keep her bar up. Alt 1 will cost about half her fury. At most, she will get 1 E off and maybe 2 later, a couple Qs and maybe 1 W, maybe 2 depending on when she presses it. The ultimate will still do AP damage on flight, still knock back, still give her the health, size, and range, but it comes at the cost of her fury bar, sending it back to 0. Remember, Shyvana's description clearly says she can become a dragon when necessary. This acts into the fantasy of she wasn't full of rage yet, but needed to get the job done. This will be what allows her to have more thinking and strategy and ulting during base defense, doing ganks, going over walls, getting caught. Like real modern day options, like you turn to the LCS, you see him purposely punish the Shyvana. Now she goes over the wall type stuff. I want Shyvana to feel more wild, like her transforming theme with her getting in the thick of things is why she's fun. I think it would be cooler if she didn't transform into Dragon for Alt 1, but that would be so much work for the redesign team. So maybe Alt 1 cannot give her Dragon stats, but allow her to dive forward and use the Dragon abilities for that short timer. I don't know. That's for them to figure out, not me. I just like Shyvana, how she is, to be honest. Onto Alt 2. Alt 2 is like the juice type stuff. This will be the raid boss entering the team fight. If you don't remove this champion ASAP, your team will be stomped. So transfer all of the stat gains from her current R. But now, her spells have added effect, plus she gains like... Oop, I should go next slide. Plus she gains an armor and MR multiplier of like 1.66. This number multiplier can move up and down based on her level. I think this resistance fantasy of being a solar diver is nice. I know it's not mandatory to give her so much stat, but I think it'd be cool. Her form will be increased flame and intensity, like as full on proof she's going all on fury. So I don't know if I have it in my notes, but if she's got 200 fury, 100 of it will go towards Alt 1, but if she makes it to 200 fury, then that's the real ult. That's the Alt 2. So anyways, onto her Alt 2's new kit. Passive is the give her the resist multiplier of 1.6. This will really sell into her being tanky and hard to deal with. It'll help her AD and AP builds still feel like they can go in. Shyvana and Tank Shyvana is going to really do that same tanking anyways. Q, same, but instead of 8 stacks you get the 20% slow, it will now be at 5 stacks. W, every tick of the burn will apply her burn passive onto enemies, no longer first tick. So if Shyvana's W is active for 4 seconds and she hits something, it's like 8 seconds or whatever it turns into. So for all 8 of those ticks will be 1 extra burn mark on them. This will help her hit your support that's trying to protect your team. And then if you can't kill Shyvana fast enough, those burn marks will now be applied on the other person hitting her in her vicinity, plus maybe hits the mage, and then the mage is full HP. Then the mage takes damage as if the mage was in constant combat with Shyvana. That's the fantasy of you just need this character gone kind of deal. And then E, explosion now gives grievous wounds to apply while standing in the fire. Each tick adds another burn mark. If Shyvana walks through the flame, she can make a trail of it behind her. If you played original Shyvana, this was her W. It's kind of lame, but it was kind of cool at the same time. If you chased it or she walked past you, you'd get a little of damage happening to you. And I think if you just add the same E damage or keep it as applying grievous wounds while she's spreading it, I think that would add more fantasy to the dive champion. Shyvana likes to take Ignite. She likes to take Ghost. She can go Flash, but it's not necessarily needed. So Shyvana really likes going in, getting the extra damage, and having a way to grievous wound without needing the Ignite is kind of nice. And then R is the staying in combat. Current R keeps the duration going. I don't have too much added to just the ulti, but that's about it. Anyways, so to TLDR on her new kit, she will essentially be the exact same character. She is trading snowball tankiness on her base form for more damage over time. This is in the sense of her E passive now stacking, being on her passive, and losing the access to the dragon resistance. But she will regain her snowball tankiness once in ultimate form. She will have 2 alt forms, a quick timer one that will dissipate and a raid boss one where she has max fury. As I was exploring this kit, I was wondering if her fury bar should increase to something like 200 and have one alt just eat 100 fury always. I'm pretty on board for this instead, given how much I want alt 2 to matter. Rewarding the Shyvana for biding her time and allowing the enemy to punish her, stopping her from reaching her 2 form kind of deal. Anyways, does my kit accomplish anything? And I say yeah. It keeps Shyvana remaining a frontline dragon. Gives her agency and lets the enemy make decisions against her. Is still Shyvana. Shout out to Skarner. And then keeps her damage profiles and flexibility the same. And just to read my note here. Thematically, I think this kit fits the archetype of frontline dragon in war, someone that can fight with Jarvan on the front lines, and I think there's a beauty to a humanoid dragon that wrecks terror when mad. Kit-wise, I don't think we need to make Shyvana more complicated. She doesn't need an Alawi W on her Q that allows her to just hop when she clamps down. I think a frontline champion without crowd control, only the one minuscule dash is a good concept. Trading CC and movement for stats, it's just nice. I want people that haven't played in years to also come back and feel like they didn't lose their Shyvana. I don't think she needs a Kamehameha or the ability to burn a forest down at rank 16. I just want the good old, if you jump into Shyvana and fight her when she's ready, you are going to lose. You keep the AP builds, the DPS builds, and the tank builds, but you just give her that more fresh feeling of playing the same damn champion. Anyways, this has been Kiseki, talking about a champion that is special to me. One of the first I spammed, for my start of my league time. And for now, I bid you adieu. Peace out. Mwah.